You need a good attitude in order to stay consistent. You need a good attitude. And I don't mean good as in positive. I mean good as in aggressive. You need a very assertive attitude about how you see your decisions and your actions. For example, if I was outside and a dude came up to me and like bumped my shoulder, depending on my attitude is how I'm gonna judge what like. Let's say dude bumped my shoulder and I just keep walking. Depending on my attitude is gonna choose my next decision, right? If my attitude is, hey man, what's your problem, dude? Whatever, I don't want to buy, like, whatever. It's not that, like, if my attitude is, it's not that big of a deal, then that's my attitude. My attitude is very nonchalant, it's laid back, it's just go with the, like, my attitude might be, it's not that big of a deal, right? That's my attitude. Or my attitude is, you a bitch ass nigga, let him do that. Now my attitude is very, like, in general, whether it's a good attitude, a positive attitude, a negative attitude, your attitude is very assertive on your actions, bro. So when you talk about being consistent, the reason I'm consistent, because my attitude is very assertive. Like, my attitude will tell me, what the fuck are you doing? Get your ass up. Or my attitude will tell me, dog, don't let that slide. Like, don't just quit knowing you could do another rep. Or you could do 5 more reps. Why would you quit the set early? Or my attitude would tell me, you know you got more in you. So
you gotta develop the mindset of either letting people choose you or lose you. I think a lot of us get caught up in constantly trying to prove who we are to people, or we try and force people to be who we want them to be, or we try and force ourselves to be the person for other people. And what I've had to learn just throughout living through friendships and any type of relationship, honestly, with anyone, show up as yourself. I think you have to get in the habit of becoming okay with people, one, missing out on you, becoming okay with you not being for other people, and then again, being okay with other people just not choosing for you to be in their life. One thing I've become very big on is just showing up as my authentic self and presenting that right away. A lot of you guys are in this mindset where, or you have this habit of always showing up as who you think you have to be, or whenever you meet new people, whenever you get in a certain space, a certain environment, you put on this facade. You're constantly in your head thinking of, can I bring out this version of myself? Do I have to, suppress this version of myself, or can I be fully my authentic self? Obviously, whatever is appropriate in that moment. I'm not saying go to a business meeting and act like bring out your child side. That's not what I'm saying. But obviously where it's appropriate, whether that's what you think, your opinion, things like that, always bring that out. And I feel like I've been very big on that for myself lately, because I don't want to get to a point where I build connections with people and then all of a sudden they finally see the real me after knowing me for like 3 months or something like that. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to play character from the start and then show my real self and hope that then they'll accept me. I want to show up as me right off the jump, and then you in that moment can choose whether that's something you want to deal with or not. But a lot of us, including myself, I used to be a person where it was like I would try and force people to like me. I would try and force people to see the value in me. I would try and force myself to accept certain people. I would try and force myself to be the person for certain people, when it's like, why do you even want to be in relationships with certain people? Why do you want to have certain people around you who don't accept you for that real version of you? Or, you feel you have to put on a facade, or you have to put on a character every time you're around that person, because I know what it's like in those moments. It's like, you can feel when you're not being your real self. You could feel when you're being somebody you're not. You could feel when you're forcing yourself to be somebody that's outside of who you actually are. And it's like, why do you want to surround yourself around people where, it's almost uncomfortable to even be around them? It might be comfortable because, they might be a friend or they might be accepting you, but it's like internally it's uncomfortable because you're almost constantly telling yourself who your real self is, that's not good enough in this moment. Who your real self is, that's not going to get accepted by this person. That's not worthy of coming out. That's not a person that people will actually like, or people that people will love, or that's not a person that even you love. And so, I'm really big on just showing up as me, showing up as myself with my humor, showing up as myself with, expressing my values, showing up as myself with bringing out my mindset, how I think, and just like the type of person I am. And in that moment, you can make the decision to either choose me or say, hey, this person not for me. And I think a lot of people internalize that when you really shouldn't internalize that. You know, just because you aren't people's choice doesn't mean that you aren't good enough, or doesn't mean that you hold no value as a person, doesn't mean you have to change as a person, or that something's wrong with you. You know, you just not for everybody. I think I've said this in videos before where it's like, everybody got different values. Everybody got a different personality, a different mindset, meaning that, hey, we each belong in different people's lives. You know, we not all.
And I always say that. I'm sorry I'm about to get preachy on y'all, but that's why I always say, no matter how many times you stray away from God, God will never stray away from you. I keep my Bible open at all times.
I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I'm so blessed to be here, be in Dubai with my peoples and stuff like that, y'all. Really, really am blessed to be here, man. I'm really this is my last 3 days ever here, so I'm just gonna live it up. I just want y'all to really appreciate life for what it is. Make sure you travel with your friends. You believe in God. You keep God first. You can do whatever you want in this world. I promise you. Don't let anybody affect you in what you think, and do that weird shit you want to do, because people tell you you can't do that. They're gonna be the first people that tell you that, because they can't do it themselves. It's a mental thing. They projecting their insecurities onto you. So do what the fuck you want to do. Be young as hell. Take your time and make sure you don't need to see progress in the first month or 2 months or first year. Make sure you be able to do it no matter what. You're gonna see progress every single day, and you can do that, bro. Don't let nobody else tell you different. If I do it, you can do it too.
It don't matter how many times you fumble in terms of like feeling that something. You know what I'm saying? I say that because I'm always up some when it comes to the gym. But check this out. You always see me back in it though. You feel me? Like it don't matter how many times you might fall. As long as you get up, you good money. I ain't gonna lie, chat. Just don't stay down. Just make sure you keep getting up. Real.
Meant to be the same. We not all meant to have the same personality. We not all meant to have the same interests, because then we will all just be operating the same and nothing new would be coming about. You know, be yourself and allow yourself to find the people who actually like you for being you, essentially. And you know, when I also say let people choose you or lose you, I mean every version of yourself. You know, none of us are perfect. A lot of us like to treat ourselves or hold ourselves to the standard of perfection, but you know, we all have our own different flaws. We all make our own different mistakes. We all have our room to grow in life. We all have the areas in which we're weak. We all have the areas in which we're strong. We all have the areas in which we're still trying to figure out and discover about ourselves that, you know, we just haven't figured out yet. Because, bro, it's so early on. A lot of us 20, 25, whatever age you might be, a lot of us are still figuring it out. And so you have to surround yourself around people who understand that and have that mindset for themselves. You know, personally for myself, I want to surround myself around people who forgive themselves, who understand the process of growth, who understand the process of making mistakes, who understand the process of, you know, being imperfect, essentially. Because when you surround yourself around people who hold themselves to the standard of perfection, who judge themselves to the standard of perfection, then that's how they're going to treat you. And it's not like it's their fault or something like that, but that's something they just have to develop within their own mindset. But, you know, I want to surround myself around people who understand the importance of making mistakes. I want to surround myself around people who understand the process of growth and how change is a slow process and something that you have to continuously do trial and error with, and that you don't figure out just right away. You know, I want people to make space for my imperfections. I want people to make space for the times where I really do fuck up in the moment. And, you know, they give me the space to actually change and grow as a person, because, again, we all figuring it out. And, you know, you got to make decisions and you got to make mistakes in order to even discover the results of making those decisions and determine, hey, do I need to change? Hey, was that a good decision? Is that, you know, does that benefit the people around me? Does that hurt the people around me? You know, there's certain things you just don't know until you make the choice in that moment. And so you should always strive to surround yourself around people who accept all the versions of yourself, the version of yourself who might react emotionally, the version of yourself who, you know, makes mistakes and messes up and things like that, the version of yourself who may get caught up in his ego, the version of himself who might lose track of himself in his emotional states or whatever, her emotional states, whatever. You know, you want to surround yourself around people who truly understand you, who can bring you back to you. And, you know, you never want to feel this pressure to always.
There's two types of players who love to win and players who hate to lose. Which one are you?
I'm neither.
Meaning?
Meaning that, you know, I play to to figure things out. I played to learn something, right? Because I think if you play with a fear of failure, or you play with the will to win, or that supersedes the fear of failure, I think it's a weakness either way, right? Because if you play with the fear of failing, you'll have the pressure on yourself to play, to capitulate to that fear. If you play with the sense of I want to win, then you have the fear of what happens if you don't. But if you find common ground in the middle, in the center, then it doesn't matter. You're unfazed by either, right? And that enables you to really just stay in the moment, stay connected to it, and not feel anything other than what's in front of you. So I try to just be dead center.
So a lot of people in general are afraid of failure. How did you become one of those people who doesn't seem to be afraid of failing?
It doesn't exist. It's not existent. What the hell does that mean? Seriously, what does failure mean? It doesn't exist. It's a figment of your imagination. What does it mean?
You're pulling a Jedi mind trick on me right now. I was like, does it exist?
No, I'm serious. I'm trying to think, how can I explain it? So, let's use happy endings, right? And then we can relate this to failure and why it's not existent. Everybody talks about, everybody wants a happy ending, right? Now let's go to the reality of it, right? Let's look at a fairy tale story. Let's look at Snow White. Mm-hmm. She gets a happy ending. She finds Prince or whatever. She goes on. She lives happily ever after. Well, I call bullshit on that, because 2 months later, the fact is they had an argument and he's sleeping on the couch. Right? So the point is, the story continues. The story continues. So if you fail on Monday, the only way it's a failure on Monday is if you decide to not progress from that. Right? So to me, that's why failure is not existent. Because, if I fail today, okay, I'm going to learn something from that failure, and I'm going to try again on Tuesday.
Feel you have to perform, always feel you have to be perfect, always feel you have to make the right choice, because then you put this pressure on yourself to almost always make the right decision, and then that causes your anxiety, that causes your stress, that causes you feeling like, you aren't good enough when, you mess up, and you're constantly contemplating, oh, do they not like me anymore? Do they not mess with me? Do they no longer accept me? Is this a safe space to be human? Is this a safe space to be imperfect? You never want to be in a space where it's like you have to question those things. And so that's why it's so important that you just show up as you are. And, everybody's not going to choose you. You're not going to be everybody's first choice. And I think that's one thing I really used to struggle with. Throughout my whole life, I never felt like I was anyone's number one option, if that makes sense. Whether it was with my family, whether it was with friends or whatever, I never felt like I was anyone's number one, essentially. And so in having that mindset and in wanting that, I would constantly try and prove my worth. I would constantly try and hold on to certain people. I would constantly try and play victim at times in order to receive attention. And, that's something I had to overcome within myself and heal within myself, because it was like, that's just not a good mindset to be in. And I was seeing how it was affecting me as a person. I was seeing how it was affecting me mentally. I was seeing how it was influencing my actions and things like that. And so, I had to get to a space where it was like, choose the people who choose you. Let people, either choose you as a person, you're this authentic version of yourself, or, let them miss out on you. But regardless of their choice, don't internalize it. Don't let it be the representation of who you are. Don't let it determine how you view yourself and your self-image and your confidence and whether you believe you need to change who you are and things like that. Because unfortunately, and you're going to learn this very quick in life, not everybody's going to see you as worth it, essentially. Not everybody's going to choose you in those moments where you show your imperfections. Not everybody's going to choose you in the moments where you make mistakes. Not everybody's going to choose you in the moments where it takes effort to fix a situation because you messed up, or they messed up but they refuse to take responsibility. Meaning that you have to become okay with people losing you. You have to become okay with losing people. You have to become okay with people missing out on you. And I'm not gonna sit here and act like that stuff don't hurt sometimes. Not being certain people's choices, especially when they were your choice, people not seeing you as worth putting effort into when you're willing to put effort into a situation, that shit hurts sometimes. And so it's hard to sometimes not internalize it. It's hard to really gather yourself and, not want to change who you are, not feel the need to go out and try and beg people to stay around and things like that. You sometimes do got to battle with those thoughts, and you got to, in that moment, make the right decision. You got to get back to your instincts and your logical way of thinking and think, okay, this person doesn't accept me for me, and now I have to find a way to move on. It's my responsibility, to take my feelings and find a way to move forward in life. But, moving forward from that situation, I think it's really important that you emphasize that you're not changing yourself to become the person for other people. I think when a lot of people face rejection in this world, which you will face rejection a lot in this world from all different aspects, whether it's a job, whether it's family, friends, relationships, things, whatever. Like you're going to constantly face rejection in this world. I think one of the biggest, most important parts of facing rejection is not allowing it to change you, not changing your values, not changing, who you are as a person, not saying that you can't reflect on a situation and see, hey, where can I possibly improve? But like, don't get to a point where it's like you're changing yourself completely to become who you think other people want you to be, essentially. Like, I think you have to become okay with people missing out on you and losing people and waiting until you find the people who are actually right for you. I think a lot of people get caught up, or I think a lot of you guys get caught up in being alone, not having as many people around you as you want to have around you. And you get to the point where it's like you just force people to be in your life, whether it makes you happy, whether they're actually a good person for you or not, whether they're actually a good influence, whether they fit the standards or the type of people you want around you. You start breaking down boundaries essentially to just like get people who will just accept you, get anyone who will accept you, whether you want to actually accept them or not. But that's why I think it's so important to know yourself as a person, know what you deserve, know your value, know your worth, because if not, then it'll be very easy for you to go out here and go after anyone, essentially. You allow anyone into your life with no type of repercussions or nothing. And it will allow you to like go out here and try and be the person for other people. Try and constantly people please. Constantly be who you think other people want you to be in order for them to accept you, in order for them to like you, in order to get them to perceive you in the specific way, shape, or form. I think when you have a better understanding of yourself and like who you are as a person, then you don't allow yourself to get out of that, or you can constantly bring yourself back to you. Because again, sometimes you're going to get tempted to start people pleasing. Sometimes you're going to be tempted to always try and look out for other people's feelings or try and persuade other people's feelings and things like that. And it's when you have a good understanding of yourself, when you're able to bring yourself back to yourself and make decisions that actually align with who you really are. But I appreciate you guys for tuning into the video. I hope you learned a thing or two. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Join up on the Discord. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.
Boss fight is holding on to your sexual energy. Some of the hardest you can ever do in your life. Once you do that, you have escaped the matrix officially. If you can control your sexual energy, you have escaped the matrix. Because now, bro, you control everything about you. A woman can't, bro, you would catch a flight just for that. Listen, I'm a victim. You would go all around the world to get some, I'm a victim. Once you stop giving that shit attention to put all that energy to yourself, bro, you don't even need to meditate damn near. Bro, sexual energy is some of the most potent energy I have ever experienced. And I'm gonna say that right now. I went 200 plus days and it haven't been the same since. I ain't nowhere near that shit.
If she is not your girl, you should not be worried about nothing she is doing. She is not that important, especially for a guy that is focused on his purpose. Worrying about her hasn't put $1 in your pocket. It hasn't put food on your table. It hasn't brought respect to your last name, and it hasn't put a roof over your head. So if she is no longer your girl, you should not be texting her. You should not be calling her. You should not be checking up on her. And you should not be worried about if she's with another guy. Because when you're focused on your purpose and you know exactly who you are and you remember who you are, you're not worried about being replaced. Because for you, you're as great as it gets. Because you're the only person with your purpose. You're the only person with your life. You're the only person with everything that embodies you. So for you, you're as great as it gets. You're not worried about being replaced. You're not worried about her doing better because it has nothing to do with you. She does not define your greatness. She does not define your respect. She does not define your confidence unless you allow her to do that. And no woman is important enough to give them that power. Take your power back, take your mind back, and lock in.
If they don't even text you back, they don't really fuck with you for real. Like, bro, now that I know how people, how society operate, bro, 99% of women and men have their phone in their hand at all times. At all times, unless they at work.
Just because a woman did you wrong does not mean you can slow down on your grind. Respect your last name. If she thinks she's bigger than the life that you've built or the life that you're building, then leave. Respect your last name. If she real comfortable talking to you crazy, then stop talking to her. Respect your last name. If she actually thinks she can take you as a joke, then leave. Respect your last name. If she keeps taking your kindness for weakness, then show her just how strong you are by leaving. Respect your last name. If she keep threatening to leave you, don't keep begging for her to stay. Respect your last name. If she don't take you serious enough to respect your boundaries, then leave. Respect your last name. If she actually thinks she can find better, don't be sad about it. Let her try. And you go get every single thing you want out of this life. Respect your last name.
Young, bro.
Bro, you got a house, you got a car, you got 100 bands in your savings account. No, nigga, you don't got room, you don't got time to be sitting there not being motivated, nigga. You got shit to do, nigga. You got work to do, nigga. So get on your shit, you lame ass. Nigga, don't get on your shit, nigga. Get a bag, nigga. Stop being lazy, nigga.
Get up and make a version of you that you don't think she deserves. There should be no reason why if you did everything that you could and she still left you, that you get to thinking, what could I have done better? Why does she not want me? What can I do to get her back? There should be no reason for that. You should be working so hard in your life to get everything that you want in this life that you should feel like she doesn't even deserve you. You should be working so hard in this life that you don't even give the time of day to certain women that are trying to be around you. That's how it should be. You should be working so hard that you don't have to sit here and beg for everybody. You should be choosing from people that want to be in your life. But the reason that you feel like you have to beg and the reason why you're constantly wondering why people left you is because you don't feel good enough and you're looking for them to make you feel good enough because you don't want to put in the work to be able to look in the mirror yourself and say, I am good enough. I am doing enough. And the thing is, you already are good enough. You already are. But you got to do something to make yourself believe it. And whatever it is that you need to do, because we all know what it is we need to do, go do that. The reason why y'all boys struggle with women is because y'all don't understand that the man that you want to be is the same man that every woman wants. Listen to me. The man that you want to be is the same man that every woman wants. So stop chasing after women. It's a waste of time and it's a distraction. It's distracting you from getting to where you want to go. And where you want to go in life is the same place that every woman wants to meet you at. It's like you hustling backwards chasing after them, because if you spent the same time chasing after your dreams and goals, they gonna meet you there. I'm telling you. So stop investing all your time and money into women, something that's not guaranteed, and invest it into yourself, something that you can actually make happen. Secondly, it don't matter if she texts you back. It don't matter if she call you back. It don't matter if she want to hang out with you. It don't matter if she choose another guy over you, because all she did was show you her hand, and now what you don't got to do anymore is waste what's most valuable to you, your time. You got to start understanding mutual interest. That's the only way you should give your time to a woman during this time.
I told her, yeah, I'm doing YouTube now, and she's like, I ain't making no money from it. I ain't have a job either. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, yeah, I ain't making no money from it, but I'm gonna start getting paid real soon. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? She laughed at me, bro.
Stop.
She was like, what the lame ass doing YouTube?
You're lying.
On my mama, bro. On my cousin D, bro. God can strike me dead right now. She laughed. She was like, they lame ass doing YouTube. Niggas playing 2K thing they finna. I swear to God.
Yo, she's a fucking hater.
Yeah.
Professional.
Yep. And then once on my mama again, she called me this year and was like, can you help me with my YouTube?
Fuck her.
Fuck that bitch. Fuck that bitch. You know what I'm saying? I knew it! I knew you ain't fuck with me for real though the whole time. I'm sitting here thinking like, bro, don't really fuck me for real. But you won't really fuck with me for real. I knew it though. Bitch, Just gonna do what just do. Word. I be trying to tell people that. I be trying to tell myself that too. Bruh, stop trying to control what women do, bro. They gonna do whatever they wanna do, bro. Like, you ain't got no control over if that girl texting people back, bro. You cannot control what women do, but get what? I be having to remind myself that too. Like, I know it hurt, but bro, she's a fucking whore. Fuck her. Stop crying and shit. Stop crying, bro. She's going to be a whore. There's nothing you can do about that. Stop worrying about, hey, my brother, stop worrying about things that you have no control over. If you feel it in your gut, you feel it in your stomach, and that feeling never leave, 9 times out of 10, you right. All right? Always go with your gut feeling. If you feel it constantly, it never leave, bro. And you never can get past it. You never can get it out your head. Go with your gut and go ahead and I promise you, bro, cause like, fellas, never ever crash out about a bitch ever, bro. Listen, if they don't even text you back, they don't really fuck with you for real. Like, bro, now that I know how society operate, bro, 99% of women and men have their phone in their hand at all times. At all times, unless they at work. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got time to be really worried about no females, because you know what I'm saying? Females at the end of the day, they'll make you lose track of what's actually important. I don't want your bitch. You can have your bitch. I don't want no bitch. I'm so good on everybody. I want what I want, and I'm gonna get what I want.
I didn't fuck your girlfriend, brother. I'm celibate. I've been focused on myself, as obviously you should too. If you would take my advice, live a better life.
There's 2 things that can get you over a girl: getting with another girl that make you feel better than the last girl, or putting it all into your work or glowing up work-wise. Yeah. I think the best one is putting it all into your work.
Yeah, for sure.
Because ain't nothing gonna hurt a girl better than you going up.
Yeah, going up for sure.
I've really been locked in though on my own shit, bro.
You can do anything you want. Just don't focus on girls. Stay away from females, they're a distraction. Focus on yourself. Eat healthy. Take a lot of showers. Read. Reading is important. You feel me? I didn't go to parties. I didn't have no girlfriend. I barely had hoes. Barely had friends sometimes. You know why? Because I was focused. And now I can buy whatever the hell I want whenever I want. Might take a little while, but I always get what I want. So, stay focused. You can get one of these. This ain't shit. Little $70,000 car, bro. They got cars in there that's worth $100,000, $200,000, $300,000. Aim big, bro. I aim big, and then I get shit like this. It's like buying chips. You feel me? I dropped 37 bands on this hoe. Shit like buying chips, man. You feel me? This a whole. I put a car on the down payment. So, you know what I'm saying? Do whatever you want in life. Just make sure you stay focused, bro.